identify yourself for the camera.
Hi, good evening. I'm Roseanne Greco. I hadn't intended to say anything, but when I came on the council in 2011, one of the very first things we talked about was the inability to get the airport to come and speak to the city of South Burlington. It had to do with a number of issues, some of which you just adjudicated, but a number of issues. So this has been going on for a long time, and it wasn't a new subject even then in 2011. So what you're talking about here is not a new occurrence. And there was a different airport director. Gene Richards wasn't director at the time. Our council did invite them many occasions. We wrote letters. We tried as much as we could through their city manager to invite them, and they didn't attend. We were successful, however, in getting the Mayor Weinberger to come to a South Burlington City Council meeting, as well as, I think it was 3 or 4 of the city councilors that came. We had a joint South Burlington, Burlington City Council meeting, which was incredibly beneficial, I think, to both cities. And it was at that meeting that Mayor Weinberger said that he, and I used this quite a bit after that, that he wanted both the airport and the city of Burlington and the city of South Burlington, and I'm assuming the neighboring cities too, not just to survive, but to thrive, which is mutually beneficial to everyone. He also made the statement then, and I don't believe it was at our meeting, that this home buyout program was a mistake. And I think he even made the analogy, and this is way before my time, there was something called Little Italy in Burlington that was sort of urban renewal out of existence. And he compared the home buyout in South Burlington to that situation, said it was a mistake then, and it was a mistake in the recent past. So the fact that they're now talking about another buyout is heartbreaking. I don't live in the neighborhood of Chamberlain, but my heart goes out to those people because their neighborhood is going away bit by bit. Tim, you said something about the line moving. The line moves. Why did it take 7 to 8 years before the engine change and the necessity to take off an afterburner that exponentially increased the sound for them to now prepare in December of 2015 the fact that shows on a map that occurred? That would be a question. Why did it take 7 to 8 years to produce that? So if the F-35s come, we know what the line is right now, but that was in noise metrics. That's not on the ground noise. So when they arrive, the line may likely move again, and if mission changes or aircraft changes occur, which occur all the time, the line may move even more. So are we just going to wait till it happens to us? I mean, you have to learn from the past if you want to shape your future. And I'm just concerned that as we sit here talking about tearing down houses and insulating houses, even though the Part 150 program says you cannot insulate properly. If you never go outside your house and never open a window or a door, you'll be fine, but that's not living. So we're talking about tearing down houses. We're talking about insulating other houses, although federal document says that will never be sufficient, as if, okay, let's march on in that direction. That's insanity. And it is going to destroy that neighborhood and our community and our city and maybe good relations between us and our other neighbors, because even if the F-35 noise doesn't affect South Burlington more than the F-16 does, it certainly affects our neighbors in Winooski and Williston. And so I urge the council to learn from the past and plan for the future so we don't get caught. Some future council is not sitting here talking about this 5 years from now. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, please.
Good evening. My name is Jonathan Hart, and I'm a resident at 14 Lily Lane, which is one of the 7 Kirby cottages. I'm here with another owner, Allison Schwartz, who's also an owner. Likewise, I didn't plan on speaking tonight, and that's a tough act to follow, and I appreciate the woman's comments. I also appreciate your concerns over the lack of transparency between the airport and you, Burlington and you, and your intentions to learn more, discover more, be informed in advance of articles and featured articles in newspapers before they catch everybody by surprise, including, as I was told by Nick, the airport was also caught by surprise. That said, I should also mention that I'm the co-president of the HOA Kirby Cottages. After our collective initial shot to the solar plexus, which was a resounding thud of, oh my God, what do we do now and where do we go and what do we do about this? We've had ongoing conversations among all owners, and I want to reflect to you that what we were told was that this was a voluntary program. And we hear that word every conversation, and I've had probably two now with Nick, Diane Carter with Jones Payne, also with Paul Connor, who was very gracious to take my call the other day. It's a voluntary program, but here's what we understand about a voluntary program. That this is an offer somewhat like the Godfather, let me make you an offer you cannot refuse. If refused, and if sound noise creeps, and the F-35s arrive, and the boundary lines change again, then where will we be? We're now in red zone. We're not in pink zone being sound mitigation. We're now in red, which is bio. If it creeps further, our homes will have no value, will be part of ongoing conversations, and reasonably so, that you want more transparency and you want participation with the airport and Burlington, but we're going to be caught in the middle. So I can share with you that right now, after a week of reflection, that it is our intention to accept the buyout, and we 6 of the 7 owners at this point are talking with another developer here in South Burlington, where we, if the airport and the FAA will agree, we'd like to move. We're afraid of what happens in a year, what happens in 3, what happens in 5. And there's a piece of this which causes us to think, whether wise or not, we're not sure yet, but we think it's wise to take the offer now and get the hell out of Dodge before it gets worse. So I just want to reflect that to you. As much as it's very upsetting to imagine reimagining our lives and moving, which is expensive and hard, and we're already sitting in meetings and having phone calls. One other thing I'll share. We talked with a city developer and planner in Culpeper, Virginia. He's a relative of my partner, Terry Close. Terry and I live in 14 Lily Lane. He has dealt with these sorts of municipality issues and governmental buyout plans in the past. And he cautioned us to be aware of something. That at any point, though voluntary now, if the FAA says, we are now claiming your property by eminent domain, they can at any point. I don't want that point to come for my home. Thanks.
Thank you, Jonathan.